Good day and welcome. This ClearPath OS 2200 release 18.0 presentation covers a new feature for the Communications Application Program Interface, referred to as COMAPI, that is introduced in this ClearPath release. My name is Cody Omath, and I am a software engineer in the organization that developed the feature. In this technical update, I will provide an overview of the new options for COMAPI Loopback Control feature. I will also describe the syntax and usage of the new configuration file and session options associated with this feature. This feature adds a configuration file option and a session option that allows an application to control how COMAPI performs loopback communications. COMAPI has two ways of performing loopback communications. The first way is internally within COMAPI. The second way is to loopback externally through an attached communications platform, referred to as CPCOM, or a communications platform for open systems, referred to as CPCOM OS. By default, COMAPI first attempts to establish loopback communications internally, and it only attempts to establish communications externally if the internal attempt fails. When loopback communications are established internally within COMAPI, any attached CPCOM or CPCOM OS is not aware of the communications, so internal loopback communications can only be made between applications running on the same mode of COMAPI. However, for certain cases, it may be desirable to establish loopback communications between applications running on different modes of COMAPI or between a COMAPI application and a non-COMAPI application. In those cases, the loopback communications must be made externally through an attached CPCOM or CPCOM OS. Previously, there was no way for a COMAPI application to specify if they wanted to establish loopback communications internally or externally. With the additional options, a COMAPI application is able to specify how it wants COMAPI to perform loopback communications. I will now describe how to use the new options. The new option in the COMAPI configuration file, called external loopback, is a parameter in the admin configuration statement. The syntax for this statement is admin space external dash loopback, comma, followed by either yes or no. If yes is specified, sessions only attempt to establish loopback communications externally through the attached CPCOM or CPCOM OS. If no is specified, sessions first attempt to establish loopback communications internally within COMAPI and only attempt to establish communications externally if the internal attempt fails. No is the default value for the external loopback parameter, which has the same functionality as before the feature, so existing applications do not need to be modified unless they want to take advantage of the parameter. If an application wishes to override the value set by the external loopback parameter for a particular session, it can do so by using the new session option, which I will now cover. The new COMAPI session option is called COMAPI-externloop-opt for COBOL and SO_externloop for C. The option value can be set for a session by using the TCP_setops and UDP_setops native COMAPI calls, or the setSockOpt socket library call. For information about how to use the calls to set the session option value, refer to the COMAPI User's Guide. The session option can have a value of 0 or 1. If the option value is 1, the session only attempts to establish loopback communications externally through the attached CPCOM or CPCOM OS. If the option value is 0, the session first attempts to establish loopback communications internally within COMAPI and only attempts to establish communications externally if the internal attempt fails. Specifying yes for the external loopback configuration file option sets the session option value to 1 for all created sessions, and specifying no sets the session option value to 0 for all created sessions. As stated before, if an application wishes to establish loopback communications differently than what is specified in the configuration file, it can override the session option value using one of the calls.
Unisys offers a comprehensive set of ClearPath Forward services to enrich the value of your ClearPath Forward applications, data, and systems. Please contact your Unisys representative for more information.